In June this year, Bain and Company officially opened an office in Manila. If you didn't know them, Bain is a top global business and management consultancy, and their setting up shop here is a big milestone. The firm mostly serves Fortune 500 companies in the US and around the world, in industries as varied as financial services, tech, retail, media, and real estate. In Southeast Asia, the Manila office is just a fifth member in a small club. That's Bangkok, Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur, and Singapore. So it speaks to the opportunities that the company sees in the Philippines. But perhaps the most interesting facet of the way they did things is not the what, but the who. Whilst most firms would have sent down Western expats to take the helm, Bain and Co. appointed a Filipina. I'm Regina Lay, the news editor of Teka Teka. This is a very personal conversation I had with Patricia Nichol, the new country head for Bain Manila, about her journey back home.
I went to grade school here in Manila. I went to St. Scott. Went to high school in Washington, D.C. I went to college in Massachusetts, and after college was trying to figure out what to do, and I was trying to decide between consulting and banking, actually, and decided to go into banking and worked for Lehman Brothers in New York first, and then wanted to be closer to Asia, so moved to Hong Kong. I then went to graduate school back in the U.S. I went to Harvard Business School, and I actually got a degree. I have a joint degree at the Harvard Business School and Harvard Kennedy School with an MBA, MPP, clearly with the intent of coming home and doing something, probably something related to public policy of some sort, but ended up getting waylaid into consulting. I worked in Hong Kong doing global financial services with Bain, frankly, for close to 20 years, and now have moved back to Manila to open up our office.
So all your professional life has been overseas?
Has been overseas, yes.
That's amazing. The fact that you always intended to come back. Because most people I know, and most Pinoys that I befriended overseas, they always meant to leave permanently, and that was it, make a life for themselves outside of the country.
No, I always felt that I could have something to contribute, and that was very important for me. And so truly when I decided to do this degree in public policy, and there were a lot of Pinoys actually at the Kennedy School at the time. The Kennedy School has mid-career, so there are a lot of people from government that go for a short while. And you get exposed to them and you feel like I felt like I had something to contribute, but at the time didn't have enough experience, frankly, to have a meaningful contribution. And now, 20 years later, I feel with life lessons and feel with having years of experience, really working with the top global companies and having that under your belt means that you have something more significant to contribute.
Yeah. So now you're heading up the local office of a very prestigious consulting company. Talk me through what your plans are, where you see, what the vision is, what you hope to do.
Yeah. So it really is in three specific dimensions. And one is around clients and being able to offer our expertise to clients and working in partnership with a lot of the leaders at our clients. And as I mentioned, many of us have had years of experience working really on the toughest problems for some of the best companies. It would be nice to be able to do that as well for the companies here in the Philippines. And because talent is such an important component of that, to be able to help these leaders build their bench strength and really to build the talent. That's one dimension. The other dimension is within our teams, our Bain teams itself, and being able to grow and mentor our local talent. I think that's quite important. And the last thing is, frankly, one of the benefits of having a physical office and a physical presence in the country is to be able to be much more embedded in the community and to be able to contribute our time, our energy, our expertise, our passion, and infuse that hopefully in the community. We are a member of the community. We're not foreign nationals coming here. We are a lot locals looking to really contribute, as I said, back to the community. So it's actually in 3 dimensions, right? So most of our clients are local companies, MNCs, and private investors or investor community. And so that's the basic companies that we cover. And the verticals are in financial services, telecommunications, consumer products, in health, and infrastructure. So those are the key industries that we would cover. And then we have a significant amount of our practice which are involved in the investor community and trying to help that investor community. So really going back to the discussion.
Lastly, words of wisdom to fellow or aspiring women leaders. How do you get to point A to point B? How do you get to where you are? What sort of challenges have you had to overcome?
I think the first thing is, frankly, you can't do it all. I think that's a complete myth. So this whole notion that people can balance a family and balance a career and balance a personal life of some sort is a bit misleading, and I think it's a difficult aspiration for most people. I mean, to be honest, my life is all about constant trade-offs, and it is really in managing these little trade-offs that matter. And for women, that's a hard thing to do. There is no silver bullet other than sleep. Sleep is a silver bullet, but beyond that, there really isn't. And it is really in having supportive people around you. And it's a bit of a cliche, frankly, but it is truly, I mean, I've been very fortunate through my professional life to have had mentors, and I've had people who sponsored the things that have mattered to me. But to your point about women, I think a lot of it is because A, you have much more on your plate, and frankly, B, you're far more fragmented. It is amazing what happens when you remove the fragmentation. And that's why I think it is very specific to women. And actually, to be honest, that's why it's important for me to have mentors and people that you can speak to and be able to relate to.
And that was today's episode of Teka Teka. Again, I'm Regina Lay. This episode was edited by Presh Capistrano and produced by Kat Ventura. If you like this episode, share it with a friend or two. And of course, don't forget to follow Teka Teka and PumaPodcast wherever you listen. We are very excited to build our community with you, and it looks like we'll be able to meet for events real soon. So if you want to stay in the loop, please go to PumaPodcast.com and subscribe to our newsletter. Thanks so much for listening.